We're back. Hello, and welcome to the second part of my Sword Dagger Spellbreaker build. I want to quickly apologize for taking so long to get this out. I got really frustrated trying to think of the best way to do this, and then IRL stuff happened. Don't worry, we're all good now, so let's get to it. In this video, I'm going to break down a fight using SD Spellbreaker. For those that missed part 1, where I explained the build, you can check it out in the top right, or click the link in the description below. Now please keep in mind that I am not a perfect player. In fact, I do make a lot of mistakes, but I think that this could be pretty useful for players who want to try this build out and generally just want to get into or get better at roaming. I originally wanted to analyze a few different fights, but the video was getting kind of long. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is do a sort of deep dive into one of the fights, and then I'm going to just show some highlights of another one. So the first fight is going to be a 2v1 versus a Spellbreaker and a Weaver. Now the opponents shown, they're a good representation of like the average roamer you find in World v World, but the main reason I've chosen this fight is to highlight the benefits of SD when you're outnumbered. So here we go. So we've got two enemies here. We've got a Spellbreaker who's playing around with this sentry dude, and we've got a Weaver who is off screen for a little bit. So I'm just gonna pull away down here, basically try and get a fight away from the guards. Already this guy's popped his block, so I assume he thought that I was gonna like jump in on him. I didn't, so yeah, he's wasted his block already. He's also just popped his Featherfoot Grace. He really wants it. He's really up for this fight. While I've been focusing on what he's been doing, the Weaver has now decided to jump in. And so the 2v1 begins! Fighting both of these guys together is probably not the best idea. The Weaver has a lot of AoE, the Spellbreaker can kind of lock me down. So from this point, I'm going to try and separate them, keep distance between them, and try and work out which is the best one to focus on. I want to create some space between them, so I end up leaping away. At this point, the Weaver's started his churning air. 100%, he is going to blink in. Obvious, isn't it? Eh? I don't really care about this because from the opening he just did, I'm pretty sure that he's quite tanky. So I'm focusing on this dude. Full counter's annoying to fight against. I'd rather get rid of a Spellbreaker first as opposed to what I assume is a tanky Weaver. My plan right now is I'm going to do a burst on the Spellbreaker to see how tanky he is, which is right here. Bang. I managed to hit for 7.3. Straight away I realized, okay, this guy's pretty glassy. He's going to be my focus for the rest of the fight. As soon as I hit the Spellbreaker, he pops his Endure Pain. So I now have to kite out a little bit. The Spellbreaker just dropped below 50% Endure Pain spot, so he's running defense line 100%. Unfortunately popped his heal, so they cancelled each other out. He's not taking any damage, not getting any healing. This is the downside of taking this trait, so keep that in mind if you run passive traits. I kite away, I don't want to do any damage to that guy while he's healing. Heal drops off, go back in. Right there, I stow my Wastrel's Ruin because I see he's using full counter. I use my Flurry F1 to hit him right here and establish the Magebane Tether. Connection made, my friends. Right there, it breaks. Really bad timing. I end up wasting my full counter here. He starts to block, going for a Bull's Rush. I actually tried to use my F1, but because I use my full counter, I don't have enough adrenaline to pop it. So yeah, now I have to kite away again, kind of reset a little bit, spread them out a little bit, get a decent burst on him here. Right here, I dodge in to attack him. I see that he's healing again. Luckily, I managed to stow my F1 and not give him a massive heal. And right there, I mess up. So I end up rushing back into him and healing him. What I actually wanted to do is detarget and go this way. I'm just an idiot and didn't do it. He then pops Bubble, right? If you are using Bubble, please don't. If you're roaming with Bubble, get rid of that. You want to use either the signet for the might and the fury, the banner for the quick res / stomps, or rampage for the CC and peak performance buff. Don't roam with bubble. I end up using a full counter here. The Ellie procs it and it interrupts his bubble anyway, so he literally gets 0 from using that. I see that he's got his Endure Pain up, so I cancel my Arcing Slice with a dodge. I go for a heal here. I don't expect the Spellbreaker to rush in like this, so he actually kind of negates my heal there. Fell full counter, nothing hits me there. Go for the Bull's Rush. Managed to land a final first. His full counter procs because I dodged into it. The full counter there was a pretty good one because it interrupts the Churning Earth from the Ellie. At this point I'm just going to kite while things are coming off cooldown. And right here going for the burst, I actually, that's just terrible. Guys, if you're playing Sword Dagger, get better at me with this. I am so bad at landing my Dagger 4, it is an absolute joke. Shocking behavior. I think someone actually pulled me up on it in the last video. So, just yeah, get better than me at that. That's bad. Get a nice chunk on him. Full counter. Fail. At this point I figure, okay, it's done. Like I'm going to be able to kill him. His heal's back up. So again, I have to kind of push through and hold out. Interrupt his block with the proc from full counter and then go into an Arcing Slice. It chunks him and he goes down. Now it's just a matter of cleaving. Full counter against Churning Earth. Spellbreaker pops Vengeance. So at this point I know I have to just kite and not die. Not get caught by CC or something. Still pressuring the Weaver now. Spellbreaker drops, so it's just the Weaver. Now this Weaver is pretty tanky, so I know that it's going to take maybe a little bit of time to actually get him down. Good tip against Weavers is you want to wait for them to go into water. And then just after they go into water is a really good time to try and get your burst. So right here he goes, he's in water. He just cycled through his water evade, get the Arcing Slice and the tether, which is nice. Right here, I pull him in with the tether, but the ledge actually means that he doesn't come all the way to me. This is something to keep aware of, right? If you play like Dragon Hunter or Thief with Scorpion Wire, anything like that, any kind of pull, things like ledges like this, or this even, oh that's a terrible line, but whatever. If you're pulling someone over here like this, this way, if he hits this ledge, now there's a chance that he could just carry on going. He could hit the ledge and then stop, like the Weaver here, or he could hit the ledge and just get thrown up into the freaking space. Like I'm sure people have had that happen to them. Like, be aware, if you've got pulls and stuff, that terrain will be a thing. At this point I'm waiting for his trait to proc. This one right here. This trait means that he's going to slowly gain barrier. Up until this point you're kind of just pressuring the Weaver to get this trait to pop and then going in for the kill. You really want to make sure that this trait is out of the way. So now that he's gone through that, I know that I can kind of go a bit more ham on him. This is kind of like just a fight of attrition at this point. He doesn't really have the damage to pressure me hard enough. And his sustain is very good. It's just about who makes the mistake first, really. Right there, I get a good interrupt after his Earth 2. Get the major interrupt for another one. This was even worse, right? Because it actually just completely whiffed the freaking Dagger 4. I mean, shocking, terrible. Being overeager, I guess. He actually has stability through his Churning Earth there, so I have to dodge the last one. Get a really nice tether there. That was like a max range Arcing Slice. So as he dodges out and I dodge back, he gets pulled in really nicely. This is like the limit of 100 blades, so it worked out pretty nice as well. Get a nice Arcing Slice again. At this point I know that he's not going to have a lot to resustain, so it's all about pressure. And there we go. get the Bull's Charge into Wasted Ruin, into Arcing Slice, and we're done. We got him, boys. So yeah, it's a pretty, well, I'm not gonna say fun fight, but a good example of how you can play a class that doesn't really have a crazy amount of sustain, and just by using mobility, leaps, and bursts correctly, you can win him. So there you go, and that's one fight. Hooray! Okay, so this is a pretty short fight against a deadeye. Pretty late, so I think at this point I was kind of just getting ready to go to bed, to be honest. He engages here and sets a mark on me. Dodges spotter's shot, or deadly aim shot. And at this point I'm just kind of using this pillar here as a line of sight. He's obviously on rifle, so he's going to try and keep his distance. This is kind of like the area he's going to be in to try and pick me off with his auto attacks and stuff like that. Deadeye obviously does a lot of damage from range, so it's really important to keep an eye out for environmental stuff, so things that can help you break line of sight, make him engage you, like get close. Deadeyes obviously have a lot of stealth. They have very good range damage, but if you can contain them in an area, you can get your damage in and kind of stop them from playing around too much. So as you can see, he's gone into stealth here. He comes in for a backstab there, get a nice Bull's Rush. Unfortunately, the Wastrel's Ruin doesn't crit. He re-stealths here, comes in for another backstab. I get a full counter off, tether him, pull him in there. Now I didn't expect him to kind of just stay there. I expected him to pop his shadow step or something. He doesn't, which is smart. Goes back into stealth, and I recover by going behind this pillar. I'm going to be using these pillars a lot, kind of just bouncing between them to make him switch onto his dagger pistol. Right there I've tethered him so he can't stealth. Pull him in, go for a nice Wastrel's Ruin there. That was a decent crit. His stealth is pushed. He's gone over here and then he's shadow stepped across. Luckily at this point I retarget him, and Rush, this skill here, Rush, is one of the weirdest skills, because right here I've targeted him, but as you can clearly see, it's out of range. My idea is to just get close to him, just to close the gap, and instead he ends up moving closer. Now Rush is a tracking skill, so once you've clicked it, once you've selected someone and pressed it, it will track them. So even though he's gone into stealth, the Rush is going to still carry on going. Now you see, the way to tell if you've hit someone in stealth on warrior is because of your adrenaline bar. As you can see, it's not quite full. I don't have my Signet of Rage up, so I don't have any passive adrenaline regen. So the key things I'm looking for here is this small tiny gap here, and as I go in, it swipes up, it fills, and I know I've hit him. If you look on the minimap as well, there's a small red marker there to show that he's down, and that's basically how you fight against a deadeye. I will say that this dude, I think he was messing around with his build, to be honest. However, the build that he's running here is one that a lot of people run with deadeye. Key things are to use line of sight, pillars, any kind of drop. If they get the high ground, Anakin, they can obviously shoot down, but if they're down here and you go up, you know, the terrain can kind of mess up the trajectory. Oh my god, they can mess up the path of the bullet. Again, these fights aren't really to show how good I am or anything like that. It's more to kind of show what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. So yeah, there you go, that's another one. Now, I had another fight lined up, but it's actually a really long fight against a dagger pistol daredevil. It's a pretty interesting fight, and it's one that I did want to try and analyze, but it was way too long to include it in this video, and I just wasn't sure if people would want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the video here, but if you enjoyed what you saw, then leave a like, comment, let me know, and maybe I can release this thief one separately. I really enjoyed doing this. It took me a while to figure out exactly how I was going to do it. Also, before I forget, big props to Wooden Potatoes, because this is 100% his format from his second channel where he analyzes PvP games. Light bulb moment. It's such a good way to break down fights. So if people really enjoy it, I'm going to carry on doing it. If you don't enjoy it, then I won't. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.